Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today is the last day of November, which means that Christmas is just around the corner. And that's what we say when important dates are coming up, they're just around the corner. So Christmas is just around the corner. I haven't really done much Christmas shopping so far. I have a few gifts to get and I have a couple of packages to send to other countries. So I guess I'd better get my act together and get moving with those. To get your act together means to prepare. Okay, so if you're running behind schedule, you can say, oh, I need to get my act together. I have started to write the cards, so they'll need to go. And for the first year ever, the post office is offering a collection service. They're trying to be like Amazon, I think, because the Royal Mail, that's our postal service, isn't doing so well. So this year, they're saying, don't worry about coming to the post office. We'll come to you and pick up your parcels and cards. But to be honest, it'll take so long to work out how to use their website. It'll be quicker for me just to go to the post office, I think. You know, going to the post office is a hassle. It really is. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to stand in that queue for a long time. But because our post office is something which was public, it used to be owned by the government, it hasn't really embraced modernity. Its computer systems are very old, and trying to deal with the post office on a website still looks like it's dealing with a government department. They haven't really grasped the idea of customer service. So I think I'll just go to the post office. One Christmas gift that I have prepared already is an interesting one, because a few weeks ago I had to take a taxi. And I got into the taxi and I got to my destination. And the taxi driver said, okay, that'll be £7, please. And I handed him my card, my bank card, because everywhere takes cards here. And he said, oh, I don't accept cards. And I thought, that's really strange. So we had that awkward British moment where we both apologized. And then I said, well, just take me to the nearest cash point. Take me to the closest ATM and I'll withdraw some money for you. And he said, no, because it'll take too long and that'll increase your fare. And he said, how are we going to deal with this? I think taxi drivers are probably accustomed to people running away. So I didn't really know what to say to him. So I said, look, just give me your telephone number and we'll try and sort it out. And so I texted him later that day and he said, oh, don't worry, we'll get it sorted. And I could see that he was being very polite and he wasn't really very concerned about it. But I thought, well, I know who he is because here the names of the taxi drivers are written on the side of their cars in very small letters. So I knew his name, and we live in a small community. So it was quite easy to find out where he lived. So I thought, well, I'll get a gift voucher from Amazon for a little bit more than the price of the taxi that I should have paid him. And I'll post it to him with a Christmas card to say thank you very much. So that Christmas gift is already prepared. So I got an Amazon card for £15. I mean, the taxi fare was only, I think, 6 or 7. So that's just a nice way to say Happy Christmas. So I need to get that posted. I have 2 parcels going to other countries. I have to get them moving. And I also have to pick up a few gifts. I have a family member's birthday on the 18th of December, and probably I'll buy some Christmas sweets for the doctor, because I have a doctor's appointment next week. So when I go there, I'll give some chocolates to the receptionists. I mean, I don't know why. They're bigger than I am. God, they're huge. The last thing they need is chocolates. But I'll give them chocolate anyway because it's Christmas. If they don't want it, or if they decide to diet, then they can give it to somebody else. Probably I'll give a box of chocolates to the pharmacy who prepare my medication as well. So it's a nice time to be nice. And of course, I'll be making podcasts about my Christmas preparations as I prepare some food. I'm not sure what dishes to make this year for Christmas. I do have Polish neighbors. I'm not sure if they're going to be popping in at Christmas time, but I want to make sure that there's loads of things in the house. So I could do my special pasta sauce. That takes around a week to make. So if I start cooking that next week, it'll be ready by Christmas. And of course, putting up the Christmas decorations. Some of them are up already. I have a lovely little Christmas lantern that I put at the window. That's always nice. And just generally trying to bring about a sense of positivity. So that's going to be my theme this year: positivity and gratitude. Acts of kindness cost nothing, do they? I suppose. Well, until I get bored with it. Anyway, on a completely unrelated subject to Christmas, this is also Meth Awareness Day. Now, yesterday in my podcast, I was mentioning that fireworks in certain parts of the UK are used to indicate that drugs are available for sale. Drugs in the UK, buying them and consuming them is illegal. But if you hear random fireworks going off or being set off, that's the phrasal verb we used yesterday, then it's a signal to potential customers that drugs are widely available or have just been delivered and you can go around and buy them. Now, it sounds very odd, but it's kind of a universal thing. It's not a British thing, okay? I think it's very common in the bad areas of countries like Brazil, for example, or places which are known for drug abuse. So yeah, we have that here as well. And today is Meth Awareness Day. Now, just to remind you that the buying and consumption of these drugs is completely illegal in the UK. Whether that changes in the future, I don't know. But today is Meth Awareness Day, and it's really important. Meth is the shortened version of methamphetamine or meth, or sometimes it's called crystal meth because it looks like little crystals, and it negatively affects the lives of 1 in 6 people every day, particularly in America, it seems, and also amongst minorities. So as I understand it here, crystal meth is something which is absolutely rampant in the gay community and in some other communities as well. And this day was declared to try and bring about an awareness of it, because it creates a ruckus in people's lives. Create a ruckus means creates a problem or a big issue, a ruckus. And this day was created to try to provide education for those who need it. Now, we have a saying here, drugs are for mugs, which means drugs are just for stupid people, really. But you might know that crystal meth, or meth for short, is highly addictive, and that means that you should be very careful, especially if you're offered it. It can lead to severe brain damage or even worse, death, and that's why this day has been created. It's a nervous system stimulant that increases the amount of dopamine in the brain, causing an increase in alertness, energy, concentration, and an overall happier mood for a short time. That's what makes it so addictive. For people who maybe struggle with things like depression, etc., they're very attracted to it. But it can lead to seizures, psychosis, and violent behavior. It's a very old drug, and in fact, it was given to soldiers during the war to help them keep concentration when they had to be out fighting for very, very long periods. And it was hoped that creating a day of awareness for meth, that it would bring about preventative methods and increase public awareness. It first came out in 1887. It was synthesized in 1893. 1919 was the first ever crystal meth. It was manufactured as a drug called Pervitin and given to soldiers during World War II. Officially illegal in 1971. In 2006, the day was declared National Meth Awareness Day. Now, I have to say that I've never been involved with drugs or anything even remotely related to that. But even I've been offered it in the street. So that's how common it is, you know. It seems that it's absolutely everywhere. So if you are in the UK, you are going to nightclubs, particularly perhaps nightclubs which have a lot of minorities, and that could be in any part of London, frankly. Be careful, because although it might look harmless, it has absolutely major, devastating consequences for those who become addicted to it. And remember, it is illegal, so you shouldn't be taking it anyway. So that's the day of today. This is Meth Awareness Day. So if you can, you should tell your friends about that. Help someone who's going through the issues. Tell them to talk to Frank. Frank is our government's drug helpline. It's nicknamed Frank. It has a 24-hour call number. You can email them for support, etc. I'm sure they have those kind of things in your country as well. It comes in different forms. It doesn't only come as crystals, but you can also be offered it as a powder or tablets. And it's produced in Asia. It has many names, and the statistics around the deaths of this and the people who use it are absolutely staggering. That just means surprising. Okay, so there we are. So yeah, please take great care during this party season. Right, getting back to Christmas and something a little bit happier, let's just use some adjectives to describe Christmas. Now, I don't actually like Christmas. You would think I love it the way I talk about it, but I actually don't. I'm not someone who likes it. And all the things I do are just to avoid feeling that emptiness that we all have at Christmas time, okay? So, busy. We keep ourselves busy just to avoid the pain of those people who aren't with us. We like to keep ourselves distracted. Another adjective might be festive. That's a good one. Indicative of the celebratory mood that surrounds the holidays. If you want to be positive about it, you could call it magical, because there's that kind of wonder and enchantment. But for me, I think nostalgic is a big one because it evokes sentimental and wistful memories of past Christmases. It can be cozy as well, sitting at home because it's cold outside. So it's quite nice. But I always find it a little bit sad, especially on the day itself, because, well, in the old days, there was plenty of people to call and say Happy Christmas. But these days, trying to call anyone is very difficult because everyone wants to text, which is a little bit strange for me. I'm not quite accustomed to replacing face-to-face conversations and voice-to-voice conversations with text messages, and then you try to call people and they just don't reply. I think that's weird, but I think that's because of my age. Generous, yeah, I like to be generous at Christmas time, highlighting the spirit of giving because it's one of the few times of the year when you can freely give to people. I love that. You try to do something nice for someone and they're always really shocked. And they think, what? Sorry? Well, for me, really? Yeah, but it's a nice time to do something nice. And of course, putting up the Christmas decorations is lovely as well, before the cat attacks them. So that's another thing to think about. So just a few more adjectives. Stressful is one of them. It causes a lot of anxiety when you think of the presents. Expensive, there can be some real high costs in that. Overwhelming, it means it can really take up a lot of your thinking because there's a real intensity to get everything done. Frantic, highlighting the sense of urgency. Artificial, pertaining to the perceived lack of authenticity. Yeah, that's definitely in there, isn't it? And it's really commercialized now. So at the end of it, it feels kind of disappointing. It's kind of like, oh, well, I should have done this, but I didn't. And there's always something left to be done that you didn't do because there just wasn't enough time or it just wasn't worth it in the end. So yeah, that's another thing. So there we are. A bit disappointing, like a damp squib, to use our expression from yesterday. So don't get too caught up in the Christmas season. Just relax and enjoy yourself. Start cooking. That's what I do. I love that. That blows away the cobwebs of a very depressing Christmas and helps us to be a bit more relaxed. So cooking's a wonderful thing, and it can be inexpensive as well. So if you find yourself during the Christmas holidays thinking, this this isn't so good, then it's time to maybe think about popping some potatoes in the pots and cooking them. Oh, it was my wedding anniversary a few days ago, and I made a delicious lasagna. We also bought ourselves a new TV for the bedroom, which in cold nights is important, but the lasagna was delicious. It was made from artificial meat and onions and other things like tomatoes that go in lasagna. It really was delicious, really. So I can heartily recommend cooking at this time of year. Also, it's hot. You'll be in the kitchen, So very nice. And if you don't want to use real sugar, you can buy a substitute. I have my stevia ready, waiting to be cooked. So I'll be making some nice cakes, I think. And there we are. So enjoy the day, whatever you're doing. Remember, if you do know someone that's struggling a little bit with drugs, do try to get them some help or encourage them to talk to somebody. And yeah, Christmas is coming, so I'll be going through my Christmas preparations with you soon. See you. Take care. Bye.